I've walked in to the sound of crisis meetings, to the sound of staff heads in.
Mate, the Greycoats have got together on a crisis of monumental proportions that puts today's blockbuster between St Kilda and Collingwood in the shade, Jim.
Gary, I've gone and got a white cup, a plastic cup. I put ice in there. I went under the Diet Coke post-mix.
Which is a bad disgrace in itself.
Which we're only drinking because the drink stealer kept stealing the other bloody drinks. Under it went and vapour came out. Just gas. Just air. Just came out on top of my ice, Gary. There is now not a drink we can have in this area.
You two were late. Davo and I and Big Nose producer were privy to a meeting which had our ears buzzing. The 5 Greycoats that just oversee the proceedings in the media room and the food spud have got together and have used the word the drink stealer is on notice. He's under surveillance today and the food stealer, and they're speaking rations token style.
Not Amy Stadium.
Amy Stadium token style.
Now,
I tell you
on
what.
the back of 3 blokes, we reckon.
I'm parched.
3 blokes.
I'm parched. I've gone out there to a couple of guys. I won't put them in, but old Baz is a bit. No, I'm not going to put him in. I ran some names by him, and he said it's one of them, so I can't run with it on air. We're being warned, but I tell you, I'm parched.
I know.
I'm like a camel.
Let me
Seriously.
say this. There are people listening who often say to me, now listen, what you do is funny, you might be in house, you've got to let us in on the joke. This is not a joke.
No.
It's not.
We lost our drinks in bottle form because there was a drink stealer going around pinching them at the
Diet Coke, Diet, Sprite.
We used to walk in, and that fridge, when you first walked in, looked like a roadhouse.
Jam
It had the
packed.
lot.
Everything.
Diet Coke, lift.
Portello.
Exactly. Orange
Now
juice.
you can't get anything, so we've had to begrudgingly accept that in the knowledge that there's 2 or 3 blokes have put...
They just used to take, we need to explain, they used to take their bag, like I got a bag here to fit 2 drinks in it, they'd bring a thing that would sustain you for a month
roll
overseas.
on suitcase style.
They'd bring that in and just open up the door and roll them in.
Yep.
The other one was the duffel coats.
Yes.
They had big pockets. The King G overalls with all the pockets. They had 12 or 13
it's been
pockets in
extended
them.
to the food because now I believe they start bringing platters out to take whatever food's out. So that's gone now. We're on the verge of probably fading away to nothing in here. It's the only thing that gets us
Dehydration. Don't worry about caffeine.
You stick your tongue out the window and hope for a drop of rain, Spud. That's the best you're going to get.
No food, no drinks.
I'm going to the drip tray in the toilet.
This is a big, big game today, St Kilda Collingwood, and we've got plenty to talk about from last night. Geelong and Adelaide, who were magnificent. But for God's sake, Jim, you run this show.
No.
Get to the bottom of it.
I just cannot fathom.
Name names, Spud.
I will name names. When I
Name
get
'em.
a drink in an hour, I am naming names. So
Remember though, Danny, there is
producer,
legal action
I know,
pending.
get
once
the
you do.
illegals on the phone.
Get
1
the
o'clock,
Austereo
I'm running
lawyer.
with
Get
it.
him in here.
Mate, as we speak, the best we can hope for drink-wise is a Pablo coffee. The best, Gary.
I don't think, but there ain't no milk out there.
Caterer's blend.
Because the Steelers don't put it past him from taking the milk as well at the end of the day. This is just a disgrace.
And
we've given it to Amy, to be fair, we've given it to Amy Stadium
exactly.
for 3 years about their rationing docket-style setup, and we look like going down the same path. There's going to be a boycott, Spud. There will be a mass walkout.
It's easy to give Amy Stadium one of the pills,
That's it.
but we're now eating our own. The media room, this is crisis day. In the media boxes, there's 12 boxes in. Everyone's looking around at each other. Is it him? Is it him?
No.
Who is it?
Well, it's not us.
It's got to be mutiny.
not us.
It's got to be
We
like the
know
old
who it
days.
is, bud.
We've got to get someone to walk the plank. We need someone.
Well, you know who it is, Danny.
I can't run with
Mate,
it. I can't.
You've verified that.
Well, your name was thrown in it, but I can't run. I ran 4 or 5 names past Baz, and he said that.
Spud's head at the minute is going purple
it's just-
style.
it is.
Not only has he got that, he's got a couple of wobble whacks of monumental proportions
well,
up
he
his
has.
sleeve.
I'm going to run with that later, but stealing your words, it's a heinous crime. Heinous!
What, you've come across a heinous crime?
Unbelievable.
Heinous even.
Exactly.
I'm
That's
telling you right now. It is
That's the word I'm
couple
looking
of,
for.
A couple of apples, bad ones, Gary,
No, good.
have ended up in a beautiful box and ruined the lot.
Yeah.
I would describe the relationship between media box to box to box
I tell you
as edgy and
not frosty anymore.
Frosty at best.
No, not frosty.
Now it's just all out, every man for himself, Spud.
It's Armaguard style.
I tell you what,
Armaguard, bulletproof. Our box now has to become bulletproof.
Look at Spud. He's dropping. He's fading before my eyes, Jim.
I need a drink.
Believe it. I can't believe
I
it.
thought I'll just have a drink at home.
Drink Steelers ruin it for everyone.
Nice little cordial at home with the kids.
I want
I'll wait till I get to the G.
I know Caroline Wilson's had a tough couple of days because she's under the pressure, but she's the president of the AFL Media Association. Get her on the phone, please, Big Nose. You know her.
We're eating our own.
We need to talk. I want to talk to her about constituents, which is us.
This is the biggest game of the year. Top spot up for grabs.
We've got to be hydrated.
We're going to do some of our best work. Me lips are stuck. I'm past. Seriously, how's my hump going, Damo? Oh, seriously, I can't work in these conditions.
I'm holding the iced glass under the Diet Coke. Nothing's coming out. I've turned to Bazza. I said, Bazza, what's this? He said, sorry, pal. Until we work out what's so rotten here. She's machine off.
Yeah, and no one is beyond suspicion, he said.
I'm like Baz. We're brothers.
What came out of the drink machine?
What about the fridge? The beautiful big fridges.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
Nothing.
Zero.
It is as empty as you've ever seen.
This was his quote. We overheard this quote. Serious.
Don't do a Sammy Newman
I'm not
on us.
making this up.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying who it was. He said that this is true. There are rats in the ranks.
Oh, no.
Melbourne Storm style, Jim. Rats in the ranks. That's the words he used.
As I slid by him, empty ice glass in hand, he looked at me, Baz,
put that ice back.
And we're tight, Gary.
Yeah.
He looked at me and he said, you bloke started this. We think it might be you. Because you went with it first, a bit like a bloke dropping one. He gives it who was that? When it was actually him.
I can confirm. I've actually done a little bit of reconnaissance. We've been cleared.
We're
which
cleared.
Is rightfully so, because we've had nothing to do with it. But I'll tell you what, there are some others, rats in the ranks that would be sweating bullets right now.
Just an update on the scenario here last week.
What's happened?
Well, Etihad have taken it on board as well.
What, Dick?
Etihad Stadium have now got CCTV
Inquiry.
in the media, and
Trying to unravel the drink store.
they have, but I, again, can't disclose names, but apparently the same 2 or 3 are doing it at Etihad.
They've taken
At
their
the
gang and moved it.
Esky-like scenario at Etihad, and whilst the game's going on, someone's been going in before half-time and half emptying the Esky of Diet Coke
I'm
and
getting
lemonade.
grilled all around Melbourne on this at the moment.
Well,
Interrogated.
Etihad have taken it on board
to
as well.
name
the MCC.
names.
It's down to 3, isn't it, Danny?
Yeah, 3 names. Can't
you,
divulge.
Can you sort of hint?
No.
The haircut today in the Confidential and the Herald Suns had a reference to you, Danny, about you going to name this drink stealer on the grand final.
Well,
show.
Daryl Timms, I'm just not quite sure. Now, that's haircut for all those people out there that don't know who haircut is. Just have a look at the Confidential page and see he's got the haircut like one of the Beatles. He just won't let it go. But Etihad Stadium have now got the Esky type set up with security guards standing
That's true.
next to the Eskies.
And I also believe that you've had a change of heart about when you're going to name the drink thief.
Well, I'm still in the hands of solicitors on this one. Sydney, Triple M, Ben and Mafio's all over it.
Yeah.
We've set a lot of documents up to Sydney.
I've heard from Slater, Gordon and Galbally.
Grand final day.
And they suggested to me, they rang me and said, tell Spud we think the best avenue for him to out the drink stealer will be at the Media Awards ceremony because that is in camera, nothing can be reported.
It's off the record, Danny.
Off the record?
Off the record.
So you're legally safe there.
So if I can get on there and give a
Just say it anyway.
quick 3-minute summation of the wobblers in the room.
Yes.
Yep.
The guys that got and the girls that have got ahead
That's
of
all
themselves.
okay. You do that every week anyway.
And then
but
whack.
The real
and then
intrigue
just
now
finish.
is the drink stealer
The
identity.
last-
The identity of the drink
The
stealer.
last 15 seconds.
Just
and
go
it
for it.
won't. I won't end
I
up in
don't
the
think
court.
it will, but we'll deal with it later on if it does.
Give me a document.
Well, I'll get
that
Slater,
says
Gordon and
that won't
Galbally.
end up in court.
You'll get ushered out the side as soon as you say
Ushered
it.
out.
Quickly, by
Ushered in,
security,
ushered out.
And that'll be the
I'm
end of
happy
it.
to do it. I'm happy to do it.
Because you know
3
who it
minutes.
is, don't you? You know who it is.
There's I've got it down to 3 or 4.
Well, there's been allegations it's a team.
Yeah, well,
It's my understanding, Gary, that Spud could do that on the Media Awards night, and he as they ushered him out, they'd usher the fossil in for a reprise of his speech from last year. Just to give him a second go at it.
Yeah, that's right. Mate,
Get off. Get off. Get lost. I got a call. I got a text here. They're starting to fly in the text, and the text number is Jim. Read that out.
I'm not going to read the number. 1991051.
Yep. It says, "Hi, missed the last few weeks of calling because work and out of town. Wondering if the drink steal has been outed." That's Chris from Yarra Junction.
No, well, Eddie
he hasn't heard the last 2 weeks because he's been out of town.
Well, what's happened is Etihad Stadium are all over it as well. We've got security-type guards behind the media box here. They've got 2 blue Eskies full of ice, and they count the drinks, and they count the amount of media people here, and they've got CCC TV as well, just in case the 2 security guards standing over the top of the Esky lose count, because by all reports, there's a couple of boxes next to us. There's a guy with a big, long overcoat with 3 or 4 pockets in his coat, and he takes more than one that's required per person.
For Chris from Yarra Junction, we believe that Spud is going to make some big announcements at the media dinner that we don't go to, but he's going to make an exception and wander in.
Oh, wow.
Where it's off the
record.
record.
The media dinner?
Yeah. Awards.
That's what you told us?
You've sought some airtime.
You said, give me
like
2
Parliament,
minutes.
Spud. You can say what
The
you like in
chief,
Parliament.
yeah, the chief was open to it, but I think they've clammed up somewhat. There's a few people on the board that might want me to come in.
All through this week, in the Herald Sun, in the gossip column,
Scott Gullen,
it's been mentioned that we're revisiting the drink stealer because if you go back to 2010, ironically, it was St Kilda Collingwood, round 16. Have a listen to the original drink stealer audio.
Jim!
I don't know. I've walked in to the sound of crisis meetings, to the sound of staff heads in.
Mate, the Greycoats have got together on a crisis of monumental proportions that puts today's blockbuster between St Kilda and Collingwood in the shade, Jim.
Gary, I've gone and got a white cup, a plastic cup. I put ice in there. I went under the Diet Coke post-mix.
Which is a bad disgrace in itself.
Which we're only drinking because the drink stealer kept stealing the other bloody drinks. Under it went and vapour came out. Just gas. Just air. Just came out on top of my ice, Gary. There is now not a drink we can have in this area.
You two were late. Davo and I and Big Nose producer were privy to a meeting which had our ears buzzing. The 5 Greycoats that just oversee the proceedings in the media room and the food spud have got together and have used the word the drink stealer is on notice. He's under surveillance today and the food stealer.
So that was 2010. Now,
Did we name him?
We understand that this week a second version of the same thing has emerged in our media ranks. And it basically, Spud, it is all centred around the Gatorade.
the press conference.
The press conference, the Gatorade that's plonked in front of the coaches after the game, which is just for display purposes. Advertising purposes.
So they're not cold.
Not cold, just displayed.
Lukewarm.
And then at the end of the press conference, when everyone's sort of winding up, my understanding is there's a Nipsey that hangs around and helps himself to him, Spud.
Well, what I've got is a little bit of CCTV from Etihad and the MCG. And what I'm going to do is actually just get guys that probably didn't do it. I'm not going to name. I'm just
so
going to
there's a little bit of footage just in the left-hand bottom corner of the drink and a hand disappearing, isn't there?
But I've seen a bit of a silhouette of him, and he's got a bit of a gut.
You've done some investigation.
What's that?
You spent the whole week investigating.
Investigation, and I got muzzled last week.
You did.
And you needed to.
But I got muzzled because what happened was the Big Nose producer had a bet on Campbell Brown not to finish the swim.
Oh, no.
So that's all I was going to say, and I got muzzled for that.
And you needed to.
Yeah, it was un-Australian, and he was the guy, the Big Nose, that set up all the
But you said it this week. You muzzled last week. You couldn't say it. Now you've said it this week.
Well,
I was going to go that up.
I was going to go in more depth, but I'm just saying that I don't think I'll get muzzled on this one. I'm going to build it up over 3 or 4 weeks. The solicitors, Bitsy and Lee, come to my place and explain to me why I can't name the person. But
Spud, I know who it is.
Our listeners want to know who it is, Brian.
I know who it
means
is.
he knows.
He knows who it is.
Well, you're going to eliminate any because I actually know who it
You
is.
want me to start eliminating a couple?
Well, Spud, you've got to be very
All right.
careful. This is a litigious area.
Peter Simonovic.
Oh, he's in America,
He
Spud. Don't
left
you
for New York in 1989.
Okay, he's out. Haircut.
Wiped
Now,
Haircut.
haircuts.
Haircut Timms.
For the people out there that don't know who haircut is, it's Daryl Timms. He gets his haircut, his fringe with a laser beam. It's that straight. He gets a dumpy level and
Oh, come on, Spud.
whole haircut.
He's a racing rider now.
No, but what I'd like to know, and I say this in the nicest possible way, is he alive?
Oh,
His
Spud.
haircut.
He's a racing rider.
He writes the races
He
now.
does. He's the best racer.
well, haircut's out there.
I know who it is, mate. There's no need to run through the whole list.
Bruce Matthews.
Not Brucey.
Brucey.
Bruce. Too much integrity,
maybe
Bruce.
red wine. No, Brucey, no. Roger Vaughan.
But did you
in the
just
bike
say
shorts.
Bike shorts.
Did you just say maybe red wine? Is that what you just said about Brucey?
Brucey has a couple.
Oh, come on,
Have you seen his nose?
Oh, come on,
It's
Spud.
like Carl
This is
Malden up
one of the
streets
greats.
I know, but it's like
Well,
Carl Malden
so-
up the streets of San Francisco.
So are you suggesting that if there was a bottle of red up there, Brucey might help himself to that? Is that what you're saying?
I think he likes a bit
Oh,
of a tip.
come on. I won't have a bad word said.
Paddy Smith's out because he doesn't go. Patrick Smith, he doesn't go to any presses
exactly.
anymore.
Oh, he doesn't go to the
Doesn't
footy,
need to.
Patrick.
I've got to throw
Still
Greg,
comments on it, though.
Greg Venom Denham.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to go because you're not allowed to smoke in there now, so he gets on the big cigars
But I
outside.
know who it is, mate. I know.
Chip LeGrande.
You listening?
Chip LeGrand.
Chip the who?
LeGrand.
LeGrand. I've been
LeGrand.
calling him Chip LeGrande for 15 years.
That's
Is
the
it
car.
LeGrand?
That's the car, Spud.
Okay, he's out.
Come on.
Fat Gut Steve-O.
Oh, no.
It's not Steve-O.
Jay-Z
Well,
got a little...
you're getting rid of Steve-O very quickly.
No, I'm not. I'm keeping
He's
him.
No,
a-
it's not Steve-O.
He's an
I
attender.
know who it is too, Beats.
He's an attender of these functions all the time.
Well, Channel 7, he does a great
Of
job.
course he
but
does.
with Mick,
I know
was
who
just-
it is. He's a very conservative sort of operator.
Does he like music? No?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
Spud, how many more are you eliminating?
Jay-Z Clark.
Right.
He's starting to get a nice little veranda over the tool shed too.
Well, that
Say no at the dinner table, Jay-Z.
He's pretty opinionated, the guy.
Spud,
Oh,
you can't just
get
use
himself.
this as a method of clubbing
Sam
blokes.
Edmund. Sammy Edmund and your little apprentice,
Who's that?
little wee man, Mitch Cleary, just loves you and puts his head up your backside.
Mitch
Little
wouldn't do that. Mitch
Mitch
wouldn't
does it. Scotty, I don't know who he is. Anyway.
No, he's written
Scott
someone down and doesn't know who he
Scott,
is.
what's his name?
Scotty Gullen.
He
No.
wrote
no,
the
Scotty
article.
wrote the article, so he wouldn't do it.
What have you written?
Yeah,
No,
what,
I'm not
what
sure.
have you...
No, I'm
well,
not
Spud,
sure.
Most of
They're
these
out.
investigations
So
go too
when
well.
can
If
we
BT knows the name.
BT already knows who it is.
I know.
Well,
who it
let's have a chat to Fitzy and the solicitors. We go through that pre-season with the nice young...
is. Why don't you just cut to the
Girls.
chase and name him?
Well, I better check it off with Lee first and
Oh.
Fitzy. 'Cause,
Right.
I'll
So
have
this
his name.
person is different to the drinks
Yeah,
dealer.
I know that, but the listeners want to know who it is, and it's probably not stealing. He's just had a
He
lend.
was caught up in another
He's-
controversy at one stage. Was he or
He's
not?
probably just had a lend.
Damo, did you hear that?
I heard what BT
No,
said.
no. Spud says it's probably not stealing. He's probably just having a lend of them.
But if
He's
he's
lending the Gatorade. He
Whoever
reckons.
it is-
What do you just hand them back after you drunk them?
whoever it
what-
is, put 4 slabs of Gatorade back in the presser. Probably do
no.
it before the game when no one sees.
You're on your lend of us, Bud.
I think if he does that,
We're
we
all
can
square.
name him then
Yeah.
because he's then paid the penance.
I've never seen a man more wound up than you today, Spud. You're all over the shop, aren't you? You're
No.
just heckling someone
Tell you
out
what,
on the ground.
Tonight at Channel 7, when they do the presses, I'm going to ask them to keep the cameras rolling.
Right
for
on.
just 10 seconds
Look
when
for
the
a
coaches
hand.
walk out and see if we can see the hands coming.